I think that's everything I need, actually. I have the thumbnail created, I have the stream start soon page, the be right back page, the main page. It's really interesting. Not happy yet with the... Yeah, that's the whole screen. I want to be streaming like this. That looks better. All right. Okay, I think I'm good to go. So let's see. I'm currently working on this app for AppSource, and I feel like there are some tests still missing, so I want to be working on some of those test cases here in a minute. Just need to find out where I left off and then continue from there. Right. So that one's still working. That's good. Let's maybe do some code coverage tracking to see what did I actually test already and what's still missing. Well, that's unfortunate. If show my code is actually turned on, there's easier to track code coverage, I guess. Some chat messages coming in. Good morning, Steve. Good morning, Mo. Well, I know it's good morning for Steve, but not sure where Mo is located. Oh, right. I'm so used to saying good morning all the time to the US folks, so sorry. Then good evening, I guess. And by the way, let me know if the ratio between music, background music, and my voice is good, or if I need to adjust anything. That's the first time running this kind of setup, so any feedback appreciated. Audio and video quality is fantastic, so that's good to hear. Still running with my webcam from, I think, 5 years ago, and microphone. I recently just watched some videos on YouTube where smarter people than me explained what kind of filters to use with the microphone. So if that's working good, then that's great. All right. This is the write-off code unit. I think this one. Yep. So this is not being tested at all, and I'm not sure if I even want to test this since it's just calling other functions from here. And the handle precondition. Oh, maybe just a small introduction what this app is doing at all. So this is going to end up on AppSource. It will be an app which lets you write off customer ledger entries onto accounts that you define, where you can, or maybe I can just show it. I'm not sure if I can show it if I have test data in my Docker container. But for now, it's just like a small page where you can select if you want to write off underpayments or overpayments. You can specify a filter for customers, a write-off limit where like everything up until $50, for example, and then a cutoff date. So anything before that given date, and then it will generate a journal lines for you to post those write-offs automatically. So it's just a simple way of gathering those kind of payments and just dumping them into different accounts so they don't show open anymore in the customer ledger entries. So that's what this is. And yep, so I have this code unit, I have some interfaces. I did that before already. And yeah, now back to testing this stuff. So preconditions, again, not sure if I want to test this. So this can potentially error if that record is not created. But I think I create this in the install code unit. Where's this? There. I'm not sure if I want to rely on having this always installed or inserted on install, so maybe change this to if not get, then insert. So this way I can be sure that the user doesn't get a missing record error message. But again, I guess I can write tests for this, so let's do that. So how is this called? I guess something like this. Test write of custom into ledger and into journal. Precondition. Like this. Then we need the code unit for sure. That's annoying. Okay. And then I want to call that function and I need to have this set up. Here's my setup. Here we go, and I want to have this temporary, because if I don't need to, I want to avoid at all costs that I need to that I will trigger the database in any way in my tests. So if I can avoid it, I will every time. So since this is by reference, I can just pass in a temporary record and it will work off a temporary version of that record. So that way I can test the code without triggering the database in any way. Now, if I just pass this in here, let's see what this will do. I think I will for sure get the first. Wait, okay. Oh, it should be temp prefixed with temp, right? So let's do that. Let's get rid of the warning and give it a first try. Of course, needs to be test function. All right, so account number has to have a value. So I don't get any errors that the record is not existing, because this will have executed in this test, from the test, since it's definitely not there, since it's a temporary variable. But this way I can also test if it's actually getting inserted. There's a typo, preconditions. Okay, and I would do that with an event subscriber. Event subscriber or database. What's happening here? Table, and here it's database. And it will be the right of setup. On after insert is fine, and then don't want any of those, and I want to check if right of setup on after insert was called. I don't think I need any variables, and the error message you're seeing here, I'm not sure if I need to collapse this. Event subscriber in test code units must be manual binding. I need to change the subscriber instance in here to manual. Now the error goes away, but the event will not fire automatically. To actually have this fire correctly, I need to bind subscription, and I will do that in a minute. And I can do something like this, was called true, or maybe like this. Create that as a global variable. Now, since I think I did this before, okay, but not in here, since the now the 1 second, bind subscription, and the bind subscription function gets code unit as a parameter, and that's the code unit you want to bind the subscription for. So basically, which code unit to enable events right now, for this code path individually. So with the next upcoming version, we will be able to do like this. With runtime 14, and that would bind the subscription for this instance, like my current instance of the code unit, but it's not yet available. So I like to do it like this. Just create the same, the keyword basically, and use it like this. But the downside now is, just like in C#, they actually, I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I guess the code unit that the compiler is written in will support stuff like this as well. And I'm not sure if that's C#, but I would just assume it's C#, and they just applied the same patterns. But now the issue is, if I would now assert is true like this, oh, there's a message missing. Maybe it was not called. If I try this like this, and I can actually show you guys, this will still error out, even though it worked. Binding was unsuccessful. Well, that's a new one. Interesting. Oh. Copilot gave me the wrong code unit. That explains a lot. Okay. Yeah. Now the issue is that this already runs into errors, so I would need to do third error. And I don't care which errors it was called. And I will split this into different tests. So first test would be journal preconditions, test setup was inserted. So that would be my first test. I don't care about any of the errors. I don't even care if the insert trigger throws any errors. So if I would to be added like insert validation code on the setup, which is stupid, but even then I wouldn't care about any of those errors as long as it was called, as this got executed. So I can just assert error and don't care about which errors. That should now make the test not work, but continue further. Yeah. Publishing is a good idea, probably. Rename the test again, so I need to refresh. Now, okay, so this is what I wanted to show you. Assert is true failed. Although it seems to be right, so I have my variable, I set it to true. I can even run the debugger to verify that it's actually passing this line. So there it was. I executed all the tests, so that's why we get a few more breakpoints. So it's going through this line of code. Now the issue is that the problem is that the variable is true inside of this instance of the code unit. So I need to create a get function to actually retrieve this value from the code unit. I wouldn't need to do this if we were using this keyword already, which is going to be introduced in the next version. Then I could just then I would actually get this into my current instance and it would work just like this. So come on. Sometimes the Copilot gives me exactly what I need and sometimes not at all. And that should make it work. There we go. Now, oh no. I wanted to click run selected test and I clicked the wrong button and this always takes a while. Okay, so something's wrong now. The automatic write setup does not exist. But why does it even care? What did I change? Well, this is a test for this, but I did not. Yeah, okay. I will split this then off into different functions, because it's like a test should always test only one thing. So if a test fails, you know what's broken, and not just one generic test to test it all, and then this one fails and no one knows what exactly is the issue, and you need to start debugging and everything. So that's not a good idea in general. So let's split this off. Okay. We have the insert now. Let's copy this. We don't need the event subscriber anymore. We don't need assert error, so we need assert error. But I don't need this anymore. Now, this is not needed. And this would be the first test now. This already, yeah, assert expected error. So this would be customer general preconditions test, count number. I mean, that should work. Update test methods, run, works, perfect. All right, let's continue. Account number, some account number, just so we can continue to the next one. And that's right. We need to do modify, since the code unit will do a get on the setup, and that will override any temporary changes we did not modify to the record. Account number and then the template. Test. Template name. Or just continue with the next one. Template name, the next one is the badge name. Okay. Badge name. And here we need to do template name. If you're wondering why this is cut off, it's, where is it? Shouldn't this show me? There are too many, what is it called? Widgets in that bar. Normally it should show me the length of the string. So this is 10 characters, since the template name is code 10. That's why I just cut it off, because it just needs to have one random value, so it doesn't run into the error anymore. And copy the badge, error message. Recently I read something that Microsoft is going to change the way the test field error messages work. So I don't remember exactly where I read that, but I remember something that there was an announcement like this or similar. So that would break a lot of tests, I guess. Okay. Oh, that's right. Insert. It's not, it has been inserted up until then, so. And this one needs to go here. Icon number. Yep. That works. That works. That works. This still works. This doesn't work but can be removed since it's now split it into different tests. There you go. Alright, let's commit and then continue. Don't want to sync already since I'm working on the main branch, and then for every commit I sync, the pipelines will be running, so that's not necessary. Okay. Now let's go back to the code unit we're testing. So under preconditions tested. Now verify the journal is empty. So I don't want to write to a general journal whatever template and batch the user selected if there are lines in there already. So that might create some collisions or whatever side effects, and I just don't like that. So what I do is just I filter down, do an as empty, and if not, then there will be an error message. And the error message is actually an actionable error, so I'm going to go through that in a minute. But and I'm not sure if I can test. Okay, so maybe I need to explain this already now. So error info, that's the recommendation by Microsoft to how to do errors in your applications in general now. So whenever there is anything that the user can do about the error, and most of the time I guess there is, at least any kind of navigation is possible. So most of the time, I mean, the error has to be related to anything in the system, and if this is a different page than the user is currently looking at, you can do the, where is it, the add navigation action, open journal in my case, page number. I don't think that's really, yeah, the documentation is a little bit weak on this one. It says specifies the number that the error relates to. But that page number is used by the navigation action, and then also the record ID. And that will just open up that journal page if you click open journal, which by the way should be a label, so it can be translated. All right. And then, but in my case, I also offer the possibility to delete all the lines automatically. So if I have my personal batch and I know that I just created some lines that I don't need anymore, or just looked at something and created some test records or whatever, and then I can just click delete lines and they're gone immediately, and I can continue from the window I was looking at. So open line section label, because that also should be label. Now the dimensions, those are hard coded since I need those in the function, and the function name is also hard coded, so I don't need to have them. I guess depends who you ask. Some people would say label, create a label, make it locked. But I don't really see the benefit since I don't need to reuse this anywhere. So I'm just good with having it hard-coded like this. And then the error dimensions, in case you didn't know. I think this goes to the same. Yeah, the current code here is just pointing to this function, and there I get the error info as parameter. This is mandatory, and I can pull the custom dimensions out again to, and that way I can pass the template and the batch name to that function through that weird signature, and then I can work on this. Right. So this is that. Now I saw this is also not good. All lines deleted message. Everything should be translatable. Okay. But now again, I don't know if I can actually test info dialogues. That would be really interesting. I can actually test that. So let's find out. What did I call that? Something like this. No, it would probably, I guess, some kind of modal dialog handler. So I think those need to be public. Our info modal handler. Message handler. Modal page handler. Very interesting. So let's ask Google. Or you know what? Recently I learned that I need to ask central queue at the URL. Probably not. Okay. Let's ask Google what the URL for central queue is. If you don't know that, .ai. I could have guessed that. This is created by Dimitri Katzen. It's a really awesome tool to gather information from the whole Business Central community and have AI respond to you based upon that information. So, how to test, write test code for error info dialogues. Let's see. With what's that called? Action buttons, whatever. Yeah, not sure if this will lead to anything. So let's ask Google anyways. Error Business Central, error info modal handler. Maybe this is not even possible. Okay, let's continue with just trying to test this. In general, I don't want to test. I don't want to call this function to test this function if I can call this function directly. So it's currently local, but let's make it internal so I can call it from my test app, and then I can call that directly. And I will probably modify this function afterwards so I can test this individually as well. Let's see. This function. Okay, this is already there. So let's do. Let's do this. It actually doesn't even care about anything. Like it will run the page. No, it will not even run the page. It will just link it there. So I can dump any kind of template and batch name into this function because it doesn't care what's in the database or not. So just like this, template batch. And let's see what this will give us. I mean, it will for sure show an error. But will this be any different than a regular error? Okay. But there is no way for me to test if it has the actions for the user to click on. And if I mean, I can test the actions independently, and I probably will do that. At least the custom action, the navigate action, I cannot test at all. Interesting. So if anyone has a clue how to do that, put it into the chat, or maybe if somebody is watching this afterwards, leave it into the comments. Because I don't have a clue if that's possible or not. I did not find anything on Google at least, and Central Queue didn't know anything either. So let's just then actually continue to test this function and just do an assert error onto the, because I mean, I can test that and then I would just raise an error. The only downside is, and I will actually change, is that this will read from the database. And as I explained before, I don't like that. So let's change that. And add an overload for this procedure with the journal line as a parameter. And just call this function from here. right. So this way now, this continues to get called from wherever it was called before, from here. But this will call out to this one, to this function. So I don't need to test this since it's just a one-line code unit, one-line function. I can test this from my test and pass in a temporary variable again, where I can create some lines that will just make this. Well, I can first pass it in without any lines, and then I will not get any errors. So that's actually a pretty easy test. So test write of a journal is empty, so that and I need the journal line. As temporary again. It complains that it needs to be prefixed with temp. And it's just template and batch. That will work. Now, I do not expect that this will ever throw an error, since it's definitely empty, local variable. Yusuf is asking in the chat which language this is. This is the AL language. I can show you the extension at least. For Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central. So it's only used for Business Central development and customizations, nowhere else. So it's pretty specific. And we cannot use anything else to develop for Business Central. So this is if you don't know that, it's a software by Microsoft, financial software. Looks like this. We can write invoices, manage the whole inventory stuff, like inventory, everything a company needs to run their business, basically. Okay. So what I was explaining. Yep, temporary record will always be empty, so I do not expect to get an error running this test function. So let's give that a try first and then continue with the second one. Okay, so that worked. 10 milliseconds, pretty fast. For example, now let's try something. This is 10 milliseconds, and let's see if we get down to 3 milliseconds, 3-4 milliseconds for this test. Now, I mean, and this is running in this empty on the general journal line, so that's pretty fast. But let's just try to remove the temporary to see what happens, like how much slower this gets when I actually do the database call, if I don't have the temporary set on the record variable. Okay, not really noticeable, probably hitting the cache a lot there. Not good for my example and for my argumentation to not use the database, to not call the database layer, but I think it still makes sense. Yeah, Eric, oh, hey Eric. Yeah, exactly, the cache is the problem probably. Let's, I mean, at least I have time, not sure about how about you, but let's see if I will do the select latest version just to see how that performs. Still fast, so I'm not sure if it's still hitting the cache. At least as far as I know, it shouldn't. but let's stick with temporary, I guess. Okay, next test. Now, to journal, verify journal is not empty. A temporary journal line, and it will now just receive one record with the template name and the batch name, and let's insert that as well. Insert false. And now I would expect to get that error message from before, from my actionable. I don't need the line number to make the test happy. So I'm just checking if there are any lines in that journal with the template and batch. So I want to get that error, and that's just any line number with it's good to have 0, just one line, and it will error out. So this one. All right, so there's my error message. And now let's copy the label over to the test function and make sure that this is the error we get. That error for this line. And expected error, set no. Yeah, that's not what I need. That's what I need. Oh, that's actually case-sensitive compare. I did not expect that. What? Thanks, Eric. Have a good one. Okay. Okay, I did not explain that before, so since we have folks that don't know the language apparently on the stream, AAL has a well, I don't know if other languages have that as well. So let's see. Go to the record here. Those are fields like the template name and somewhere the batch name. Is it? Those are fields on the table. Doesn't really matter. The template name and the batch name, those are code fields. And that's basically text like this. This is the limit of the length. It's basically text, but only uppercase. I don't know why. but that's used for identifiers of record for primary keys, stuff like that. And it's just how it is. So when I assign a lowercase text to the code field, it will automatically be converted to uppercase. And that's why the expected error, which is apparently case sensitive, had a hiccup that the text was identical, but the field, the template name and the batch name were uppercase. So that's why it failed before. Okay. So it looks good. It's a little slower now, but I guess that's fine. Still at 10 milliseconds, so. Okay, so let's commit and then continue. Verify journal is empty. Right. Test for. So I now always like to review the changes in general. So what did I actually change in that commit? That saved me a number of times to not commit any changes I did not intend to commit, or I wanted to commit in a different commit or similar. So here I just added those two tests, and here some label adjustments, but I don't need to really commit those individually. So I think I'm good to go and commit. Right. So I think that covers that. As I said, I don't know how to test the navigate action, so we'll skip that for now. But I can test this. But I first want to make this testable. So again, there are different. Can I pass an error info object to that function? That would be interesting as well, to test the extraction of the dimensions. See? Procedure test. Okay. This one and the code unit again. Right off into journals. Delete all lines from batch. Cool. That's actually cool. Very interesting. All right. But still, I don't like the message. Because I usually but I still want to make sure that the message is shown, so I thought about refactoring this so I don't get the message in the function I'm actually testing like I did before with the other function. But I guess I will just stick to that. So the only thing I need to do again is make the pass in the general journal line as a reference. So I can pass in a temporary variable. So internal procedure. Like this. like this. Okay, back to the test. Temporary. Temp. And I don't know why I always type this in the wrong order. Okay. So this calls this function. I need to create the 2 dimensions, so something like this. And add this to the error info. Dictionary text, this is okay. And here again, I don't really care about these specific names. Just want to have it working. Page number, not error info. Yeah, that's actually not a bad name. And that would... all lines in the badge have been deleted. Okay, now I got it. I just thought that the message is misleading if there were no lines and nothing has been deleted. But this is not, like the whole error is not shown if there are no lines that can be deleted. So only looking at that function, it doesn't make that much sense, but putting it into context, I think it works. So I also don't really need to care about that scenario that this is false. I need to insert lines and do the same check again that the delete was called. And also I want to check that this was true. If I were, or somebody else, like another developer, would change this to false, the test would start to fail. Or would it? Now it does. So I don't know why, again, stupid, or not stupid, but weird behaviors of the language sometimes. The on-after insert event does fire even though the insert trigger itself was not executed because somebody did an insert with false. That parameter is, like for all those kind of functions, the parameter, can I show this? Yeah, it's the, if the trigger should be executed, and well, that's why we have that parameter, to actually check if the parameter was true whenever that event was, like the trigger was executed, was called. Okay, so I want to make sure that the trigger is actually, the trigger itself is also run. So that's why I need to put it like this. Okay, so now general journal line. Yep. General journal line, and after insert, check if a general journal line and after insert was called. Saving some lines. Okay, so this is that, and then the procedure again. And for those kind of things, Copilot is actually really helpful. Just those, if the pattern is there already, it really picks up what it has to do. So that's actually good. Subscription. Unbind subscription. Insert is true. Now I don't get any error, but I will get the message. So let's run this first and see what it gives us. Bit methods, test delete all lines from patch. Yep, that's what I expected. So there's an unhandled message. And that's the only way to test if there, like the message was shown to the user. So let's create, I will try local procedure. What's that message called? All lines deleted. So all lines deleted. Message handler. This is a message handler, and the message handler requires a specific signature. This, no. So come on. Give me the error message. Procedure cannot be local, so okay. And now this is the signature, so it has to be message text 1022. Message text 1024, sorry. So this is that. Now I need to assign the handler function. Now if I had a generic message handler, I would probably create a global variable something and make a way to have the message handler compare the message to what I'm expecting. But I usually just do specific message handler functions since I need to assign them to the test functions anyways. So that way I can just copy that message over into the handler function and assert or equal expected is the, yep, just like that. And all lines deleted message is not correct. So this is that, and then I just change it by one character to make sure that it's actually showing me the error when it should. So here you can see this is the expected. All lines in the batch have been deleted with an A at the end, and this is the actual. So this is the proof for me that whenever the message is not correct, it's actually failing the test with the assert function right here. Okay. So it is true failed. Oh, that's right. This year, this one failed because I did not insert the lines yet. So let's do this. Do this. That should work. Still not. Why not? Template batch, insert. That's in here. Set range. Notice empty, delete all. Okay, I guess let's debug. Okay, so this is template name, batch name. This I cannot look at. Then template batch. So that looks good. So good. Temporary. Oh, that's also a good benefit. Like when you do temporary records, oftentimes event subscribers do actually have the if not is temporary then exit stuff, or if is temporary then exit stuff. So lots of code doesn't run when you work with foreign tables in this case, base app tables. But I noticed that my event did not fire. Why did it not fire? Here. Oh, it's the on after insert. Okay. On after delete event. And on after delete. And after delete and after delete. Next try. It worked. Okay. And the next one in the books. So the only thing changed in the code unit we are currently testing is the signature. So it just shows like the end and the beginning of the next function as the div. And we added that variable and some tests and some additional functions. That's okay. And I did test delete all lines from batch. Commit. So that, okay, so this function we still cannot test. Delete all lines from batch. Let's test it. Create write-off, that's just the wrapper function again, so let's see. We have the custom ledger entry where it's reading from the setup in the interface. What's the interface doing? And write off to journal and insert general journal line. This is this one. Oh, I extracted those functions already with testability in mind. So the reason I did that was to make them testable independently, and also to explain this. When I now start to write tests for this function, I can pass in a dummy implementation of that interface where those two functions don't actually do anything. So I can test the flow of that function without running those two functions, and then test those independently again. Okay, let's do that. Where's my... Here we go. Test. Procedure. Let's create write-off. Okay. We need the custom ledger entries. Oh, and the write-up setup. Let's just grab everything. Custom ledger entry temporary, of course, as well as the setup temp. So this would be underpayments for now. Should be ordered by type. Oh, the continuous won't die. Like this. Okay, so let's see again. What will this do? Get next document number. That's actually stupid to not call this through the interface. Okay, and then it will do autocalc fields on the remaining amount. But that doesn't really bother me because it's used in here, so for my test it doesn't matter. Raise number, no custom ledger entries, write-off error. That's fine. Because I need to anyways test if it will get called, and since it's just the error, Yep, just the error. I can just make an assert error and test it that way. And then the find set. Okay, so let's do that. Need to create the implementation for that interface in my test app. So I usually like to create a source folder in general. Now we'll move that test code unit in a separate commit so I don't lose history. And then have like, what is it? Test implementations. It's a separate folder where I then can create the code units. So that's fine. Implements create journal write-off. And that will be the implementation for the create write-off function. So create write-off test implementation, something like this. Implement the interface. All right, so oh, and by the way, if anyone has any kind of questions or anything wants to have me explain something I'm doing, just put a comment into the chat or anywhere, then I can respond to that and elaborate on whatever you want. Okay. That's my okay, go back to the test code unit maybe. That's better. And now I can pass this into here. It will grab the second implementation and will use this instead. So now without anything in that code unit, it won't work. Because we need some kind of document number. But what we don't need is it running the number series and get next number stuff, all of that. That's a dependency and I don't want to call that at all. So I will just return whatever document number instead. Rename this file. Why doesn't it want to rename the file? Code unit. Okay, so get next document number. I should change the text limitations here to what they actually have to be. But not now. Lib random. Yeah, that doesn't work. Library random. So this is a nice library from the test libraries where you can just create random values. In my case, I want to have a random text, and that's now the thing. I don't know the length that it has to be just from here. So let's find out. This is also okay. Document number. Here we go. It's code 20. So I want to have a random text with a length of 20 characters. as my document number, because again, I don't really care. And I mean, I guess I could hard code this to even don't have a dependency onto the library code unit. But that I always have the same value. So I would need to, but I'm doing temporary records, so let's actually do that, I guess. Do I have something like random decimal numbers, items, real numbers? I probably can do something like create quit like this, and then this is actually annoying. So let's switch some of them off. I don't need GitLens. I don't need live share. I need, no, indentation is fine. I don't need IL object ninja. Sorry, Veko. There we go. This is what I was looking for. 36 selected. So I want to use 20 characters. This is 20 characters. Looks short, but it's 20. So remove the dependency and just go like this. This is the implementation. So we have this part, so we get a valid document number. Especially because this just uses a parameter for the next function that's also going to into our interface, so we don't even need any document number that makes any sense, so it doesn't really matter. Now the first test will be if this error pops up. So I don't need to insert any document customer ledger entries for now, so this returns true and then raises the error. This I also don't really need, but I don't care. I can use that implementation. So there has to be some kind of implementation. I don't want to have the default implementation from the app. So this gives us the error message. No customer ledger entries to write off within the filter. That's fine. That's the expected error. So rename error if no customer ledger entries. Insert error here. And then the expected error is this. Test again. What? Oh, I don't know why this even works. I renamed the function and it still works off the old version of that code, which I overrode with publishing again, so I don't know. Okay, so this works. And again, the test rename the whatever you're asserting against. Run the test, make sure that it's actually failing on what you want it to fail, and then revert. Very important step. Now, let's test the just test the, not test the other one, the other version, so we don't write off no error if customer ledger entries exist. Okay, let's go back here. So it will take whatever filters I give it. So I don't need to give it any filters. Just again, insert one single record and make sure those two functions get called. And the document number one, of course, as well. So then custom ledger entry, insert. What this will do, it will insert a single custom ledger entry into that temporary record with entry number 0, since it's the initial value of any integer field. I don't really care. I don't care about anything else. I just need to have that record in that variable. So no error if causing, that's fine. So I don't expect an error to happen anymore. So I can delete that. And maybe I should rename those functions a little bit because those are confusing. So that one works. That one works as well, but I did not test anything. The only thing I'm testing now is that I don't get an error, but I need to test more. So go back to the implementation. Now what I want to do is similar like I tested with the triggers. I want to do exactly that. Add write-off journal was called. Insert was called. If I don't need that number, it's probably cleaner if I don't have it. So was called. This, and then procedures to read out those values. And I cannot have them the same name, so just put a get in front of it. Now Copilot knows what I want to do and works far better. Okay, so insert the custom ledger entry, call that function, and then since I have my code unit here, and assert is true. And do this. Now that way I'm making sure, well, I guess I could test if the parameters are passed correctly. So in terms of flow of the logic, I could test if my add write off to journal function retrieves the document number that this function returns. I guess I could do that. Don't know if I should. It doesn't add any performance downsides or anything, so let's do that. Don't know if I have the translation files feature even enabled in the test app, but just put the log to be sure. Now I probably can just do an assert in here. Don't know why I couldn't. So does that work? Oh, it does. Okay. That's equal. And this is expected. So document number token. Document number is not correct. See if it fails. Then fix it. Does fail, so that's fine. Works. Is there anything else we need to test? In this function. Why is there a zero reference? That doesn't look right. Okay, so this path is tested and it will then cancel, like stop executing because of the error message. Then this part is tested where it goes through all of those. Yeah, line number should be 10,000. Okay. Where is my... Oh, this is the one. Right, so same here, so this can be global. And then we're equal 10,000. Line number is not correct. Should be 10,000 because I'm running through the function, like through the loop once. If I would have multiple customer data entry lines, then I would write some better logic to identify the current line number, save it, and then increment or whatever. But since I know I will only call it once, I can hard code this to 10,000 and it should be good. All right, let's test that and then adjust works. Let's make sure the assert works as well. Run. Yep. Okay, so that looks good. So now I think that would be everything for this function in terms of flow and logic that's happening directly in this function. The other two functions, of course, and the get next document number can still be tested. But this should be good now. Now let's think of some better names for those two functions. Test create write-off. Trace error if no test ledger entries. And this one, same prefix. Maybe something like test create write-off program flow. Whatever. I just want to have them a little bit more different. So when reading the test name, you don't need to read specifically what it's saying to find out what it's testing. So that way that both are a little bit more different, and it's easier to see at the first glance what those are doing. So this is raise error and this is program flow. So okay. Let's see. We have this range to actually call the get next document number from the interface. Added this to the interface, added test functions, and the implementation. This is the linter cup complaining that access should be set explicitly. Not really needed in the test app, but I did not change the rule set, so. Okay. Add test create write-off. Okay, and I wanted to rename. Oh no, I wanted to move this. Okay, so. Which is essentially a rename in Git. So it says that this is deleted and this is untracked. If I stage them, it realizes those are the same files. So it tells me that it's renamed. Move test code unit into folder structure. Okay. So this is done. Get next document number. Now, do I want to test this? It will read the batch and then call the get next number from the number series code unit. not sure actually. The reason why this function is a separate function is that it's handling dependencies onto the base app and nothing else. I guess from a program flow perspective, it's still returning a document number. That's the purpose. It returns a document number, the next one. But in order to test this, I need to have a number series. I need to have a batch with a number series assigned. Not sure if the template needs to exist. And number series lines. Just to test those two lines. Code. And I'm not sure if my code can break. Like, the number series can break. But that's Microsoft's code. That's not my code. If I know that this is broken, I cannot do anything about it, except for putting in a ticket. But I would guess if this doesn't return a valid number, then tests from Microsoft will fail before I will see or get the error. So I guess I will skip this. No tests needed because nothing in my logic to be tested. Now this is the next question. Do I want to test if this creates a valid outcome? This is, I mean, this would basically be a copy of this function. Like the test function would be a copy of this function. No, I'm not sure if I want to test this. Same goes for this. Filter page. Don't know. Don't know if I can test this and if I want to test this. Invoke target page. This is for... Oh, this is actually something I might want to test. This is what's it called? It's part of the interface. Okay. So the way this works is I have the write of app. Where is my page? Write of documents page. There we go. And this one, this will, like there is the generate button at the bottom. Showed this before. And it will let the user open, like automatically open the whatever target is specified as the write-off target. In this case, just journal lines, but it will open them up automatically for the user. So this is something I might want to test. If the right page will open up. So this also runs through the page management code unit. Again, database dependencies everywhere. Does this do a page run modal? Oh, okay, it doesn't. But I guess it's still a modal dialog in terms of test terms. And then this error is already tested. So this would be the last one, the last function to test. So let's do that before we finish the stream. Let's see. Tests. Procedure now. Do I want to? Invoke target page. Okay, so test invoke target page. Write off into journal. Okay, now same story. I don't want to do database, so page management is fine. Because I actually I think I want to test this. If it, like this code unit does so much. Like there is so much regref, field ref stuff, variants and everything in there. So there might be a change done by Microsoft to this code unit eventually at some point. They might just move stuff around, adjust it a little bit. And that doesn't mean it's broken after that, but it might break me. So that is something like I can see that possibility for the code. So I want to test that definitely in my tests. So setup is the first one, general line the second parameter. We don't have any return values here, so need to care about that. I can copy this into my test. Setup, general line, temp, temporary, okay. So this, the setup need to insert the setup and the general line. Template name, batch name, insert forwards. Okay, so this works, and now let's run that, and I would expect this to throw an error because there is an unhandled page dialog popping up, and tests don't like that. Which is correct. They shouldn't. General journal template does not exist. Do I validate those? No. What the hell? General journal template does not exist. Oh, in the page management. Ugh. Okay, can't do anything about that. If I want to test the page management, I need to then, unfortunately, insert that general journal line. Wait a second. The template does not exist. It actually tries to read the template. Page runner field, page, get page ID, get default, I think it's the lookup page ID. Oh, that's from the table, all right. Then it's, I think this. I need to debug this once because I'm not sure which path it's gonna take exactly, so. Get page ID, get regraph, get conditional. Oh, this one. Get general journal line, page ID. And then here it's trying to get the general journal template. Puffle is saying that defining the template name, but such record does not exist in the general journal templates table. Yeah, that's right. I'm trying to get around the database as much as possible. So I just wanted to check how it's like when I insert that template name, the general journal template with my template name into the database, what different, like what other fields do I need to define in order to get the result that my regular code would see. So I just need to insert that, and then let's check how the general template is set up. Does it have a page ID, or does it just do like this? Type general, and then I think this is the path. Like this page is what I'm trying to get as a result right now. So I will leave. Yeah, but I mean, I need to define which template is responsible for this template. This would be this path. Like when I define a page ID, like any kind of page ID, it would return this page ID. If I leave that blank, like 0, no specific page, then it's trying to get the page off of the type. And I think I want to have the type general, so it returns the general journal page. In the end, my test doesn't really care if it's a custom ID or if it's one of those set IDs. So I think I will go with general for now, and with the test around this. Okay, so invoke target page. General template. is type in general the default, or does it have a blank type? Ach. Let me go to definition. General is the default, so I don't even need to do anything. Just like this. And now I think because I don't have procedure isolation, I want to delete this template afterwards again, just to be sure, so I don't mess up my test. If I would need to insert this template later in a different test afterwards, it would still exist. Just want to clean up after myself. Okay. Okay, now we get the unhandled UI page 39. That's good. Let's create the page handler for that. Page handler, procedure, general, journal, and handler. Oh, it has to be var. Okay, I don't need to do anything with it, so I don't need to put any code in there. I just need to define the handler functions here to use that handler. One second. There's no badge within that filter. I trust to open that page. What do you mean with return general journal record to temp? Oh, this one. You're right. Thanks. I don't need to have that. I thought I would need to have that, but it's the general journal template. Yep, I missed that. Now the question is, can I just close this before it even opens? Don't really like it, but I think I will just insert the patch as well. Otherwise I would need to restructure the invoke target page, and then it doesn't really give me anything anymore. That's right, I have code unit isolation. That's the default isolation level for tests. I just don't know, like if I were to add code and then add test code in like 6 months, and because Copilot is suggesting me now this template name over and over again, I might forget that I have a leftover record in here from this test. So tests that run after this test in the future might reuse the same thing, and I might need to insert the template again, and then it breaks. I mean, I guess I could just do if not insert, then nothing. Oh, I mean, that's a valid solution as well, and then the test runner will clean up for me. I just want to avoid that I break myself in the future, my future self. I care about my future self. Okay, let's see if that works. If that is enough to make that page open. It is. That's a really good example. I mean, I would not consider a 1/10 of a second to be slow, but compared with 6 or 3 milliseconds, it's pretty slow. And that's partly because I need to do database interactions and because of the test page. UI pages are really slow compared to code only, like code units, like plain codes, no test pages code. That's a huge difference. But as I explained before, I really want to test that just to be sure that the logic inside that page management code unit doesn't change too much and break my logic in the future, possibly. Okay, so that's done. I refactored that part and I added those tests. So commit and sync. Oh, and I wanted to review the text parameters in my code unit because those are all unlimited and it doesn't really help and can lead to all kinds of errors if somebody doesn't check or doesn't know or doesn't remember or just forgets to verify that everything's within the length it should be. So let's see. The target filter does this. This is a set view and this is unlimited. I don't think it's unlimited, like actually unlimited. But the parameter is unlimited, so there's nothing really I can do about this. This is all date. This is again the filter, decimal, date. The template and batch names already limited. Those are records and interfaces, enums. Those are fine. So I think it's only this document number. And document number is, by the way, it's code, not text. So code 20. Now this breaks the implementations, obviously. Right, that's code. It has to be code here as well. And here. Here I have it code already. I didn't verify local variables. Should all be good. Error info. Document number code 20. Those are code 10 already because those are the fields. So this is code 10. This is code 10. This is code 20. Now back to the interface. Code 10. Code 10. This is the internal procedure. But I think it still goes through the interface. Yeah, there it is. Code 20. Line number is fine. Filter tags is fine. Oh, here we go. This is the target. This is what I observed last time. So I remember there was something. We have 2048. Set that here. 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 What was that function called? Get filter target tags. What is the error message? Oh. Wait, what? Oh, it's reference but never changed. And then this? Ah, okay, this is the default. Now I was confused for a second here. There we go. Now, here is an implementation as well. So it has to be code 10. Code 10. Code 20. Still something. Create journal write-off. get next document number. Oh, typo. There we go. That works. And do I need to change anything here to reflect those changes? I don't think so. Okay. Change text variables to have proper length limits. Okay, so that should work. I think that is everything I needed to write in terms of test code for this function, for this code unit, for this implementation. I think the next step would be I intend to have separate implementations, and if I open up, I showed this at the beginning, but I think not everyone saw this. This is the front end, and that's all there is to write off documents. So it would pick up documents within the customer filter up until a certain limit, write-off limit, and up until including like the cutoff date. So if I want to write off leftover, like if a customer paid a little short or paid a little too much, up until whatever, a month ago, and for like $50 or something, then I can gather those records and create journal entries for them to write them off into a specific GL account. And the initial idea was to support all sorts of write-off types, so that's why I have interfaces underneath those values. You can see already it also contains customer as a value. So the idea is, why not also do like vendor write-offs potentially in the future? And I also already have the separation of underpayments and overpayments. So and also journal is part of the name, so I could imagine to write off, like if a customer needs that, write off not into a journal, but create a bunch of like documents, actual documents for those customer ledger entries. So those are all things I still have planned for this app. But first, next step would be to actually implement both of those. I'm not sure which one. I think I have my current code unit linked to both of those options. But I'm not sure what it's actually doing. I don't remember. Where's the filter? Oh, in the filter function. So it will filter the posting date lower or equal the cutoff date, and the remaining amount higher, more than 0, and less than the write-off limit. So that means I'm looking at invoices that have a positive amount left over in the remaining amount. So I guess those are underpayments right now. I would need to look at those ledger entries to be 100% sure, but I think it's underpayments that I implemented first, because I thought those would be the most common use case, that a payment was a little short by a few dollars, and I want to dump those leftovers into some general into a different account specifically made for that. So next step would be to implement the overpayments, and the challenge I see for this is that it's like almost identical to what I have here. Like the filter has to be different, and I think this line. And so I probably will need to pull those the logic out of this code unit into a separate code unit, or just create a different code unit that actually implements the interface, and make those things parameterized to not have a bunch of duplicate code. So that will be the next step. But that's it for now. I need to leave, do something different. I might continue with this later today. So keep an eye out. I will be posting on Twitter, or X as it's called now, if I will continue. And also if you follow me on YouTube, you should get notifications if you want to follow along as I continue to build this app. And as I said, once it's done, it will go online on AppSource. So yeah, going to be good. All right, I guess have a good day and see you soon.